Piggy, you're so silly in the morning. Are you starving? So this is what I wake up to every morning. I didn't bring the camera into the actual bedroom, but while I want my coffee, Higgy wants his breakfast. So you're hungry? You're hungry too? Every morning. I should have never started giving them wet food in the morning. There you go. Now I gotta go feed the rest of the critters. Put some seeds out everywhere for all of the hungry small creatures. It rained so hard last night. And another cold front came through, so the lake is completely cloudy. And it looks like the boathouse door got blown open, because of course it did. Guys, you shouldn't leave. I'm bringing food. This might be the most boring attempt at a vlog I've ever made, but I figured we'd do a day in my life. At least more little bits of it. And what better way to start than with the swans? They're so pretty. Actually, the lake's kind of beautiful this morning, too. Hopefully, by the time I get back inside the house, my coffee will be done. But it's really pretty. One last batch to feed before it's time for coffee. There you go. Silly. Some of them don't climb me. Some of them just eat. Really? What are you doing? There go the swans. Gotta admit, the fog is beautiful. Silly bird. I should have brought out seeds, but there are seeds for them, so they can get them. There he is. Finally coffee. And internet. But mostly coffee. Poe, or one of his babies, is finally back. Getting everything set up to read with my incredible setup and pair of socks that are just stuck over there. Thankfully out of camera unless I'm doing something like this. Cats will probably leave the minute I sit down to start reading because they're silly. Cats are silly. At least I have plenty of natural light. I always try and read in the morning because then at least I have real light coming in. And I don't have to count on, you know, using my not actually lighting for videos, but hey, it kind of sort of works. Anyway, almost done with The Skies of Pern, which is kind of cool. Then we only have one more Pern book, and I just started reading The Incredible Journey, which I'm probably going to cry like a baby through a bunch of it, but it's a really good book. I took the stack of books out to my son and was like, all right, which one to read? And he's like, that one. And I'm like, I'm gonna cry. And he just laughed. Because kids are mean sometimes. Are you guys gonna stay while I read? Or are you going to leave because you're in the spot that I usually sit? Anyway, I guess I should get to it. So one of the nicest things about living out here in the middle of nowhere is most of our burnable trash I burn. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's good for me because the dump is about 30 miles away and I don't want to have to be going to the dump every 2 minutes to take our trash. So if it's burnable, that's usually what I do with it. And we do have trash pickup, but you have to go and buy the bags for like, I think it ends up averaging like $3 a bag. So I try to avoid doing that too. So it's trash burning day, which I try to do when it has rained and there's no wind. So definitely is feeling like fall. That tree's really pretty. Trying to decide if it's time to put the storm windows on or not. I might put a couple of them on and leave a couple open just in case we get good weather. All those things that you have to do before the snow closes in. It's alright. Got a little bit of time before that happens. Although since it feels so much like fall, I feel like making a fall type meal today, so I am going to be making chicken stew today. I might show you a little bit of it, but what I do is really, really basic as far as that goes. Anyway, I am going to go on, burn a couple more bags of trash, make sure the fire's out, and then probably be a absolute bum for a while until it's time to cook. Because, oh, well, actually I've got to read still. Get that done. Read some more of The Skies of Pern. Then maybe go for a walk. It's a gorgeous day out. So, as what seems to happen far too often this time of year, we got clouds and it started drizzling again. So there goes my grand plans for a nice long walk today. So I figured we'd just go out and check the apples. If they are not like easily coming off the tree, they're only getting like a couple more days before I pick them. I'm getting impatient. Silly, I know, but I'm tired of waiting. The worst part is I don't even actually really like to eat pie, but I'm going to attempt to make a homemade pie crust for the first time since I was like 20. And the part of pie crust I like is making, I just always called them crust cookies. And basically what it is, that is still stuck tight. Alright, pie, apples, you get a couple more days, but that's it. But what a crust cookie is you just take all your leftover scraps of pie crust. Oh, that's a pretty mushroom. And you do a thin layer of pie crust and then butter and cinnamon and sugar on it. And then you layer it up about 5 or 6 layers thick. And it's almost like a shortbread. And it tastes really, really good. And it goes really well with coffee and tea. The squirrels are so silly. And now that I've thought about it, I want it. Of course, if the pie crust fails, it's been a long time since I actually made one from scratch. Because I'm lazy. Also, I hope you don't mind this. This is my first actual attempt at a what I do in a day vlog, and I'm coming to realize that what I do in a day is probably not a lot. There's the babies. Hi, babies. You know I can still see you, right? They're so cute. They're especially cute when they're little and they're still playing all the time. I'll leave them some seeds. Which is probably why they came out of the tree in the first place. What you got there? Whatever he's got, it's big. I think it's a mushroom. Oh, you're gonna get the seeds, huh? That works. I think he's got a mushroom anyway. Anyway, so yeah, my day-to-day life is pretty darn not exciting. I mean, I have a lot of fun, and I am not complaining about my life, but it's not like some fascinating influencer lifestyle or anything. I basically just hang out in the woods, or at the lake, or whatever. Look at the water, read my books, play silly video games, and that's kind of my life. I wouldn't change it. I enjoy it. But from the outside, it's probably really boring. Yeah, that's a lot of clouds again. This time of year is so weird. I'm hoping that we get our usual couple weeks of just absolute perfect weather. And I'm actually really hoping that we get our couple weeks of perfect weather in mid-October. I missed the Gem and Rock show, but I am going up to visit my son and my son-in-law again here in a couple weeks for a few days for my youngest's birthday. So that should be good. And that'll probably be my last big trip before the snow closes in. I'm a big baby. I don't really love driving in tons of snow. It's not all that much fun. It's one of those things that it's like, I can do it, but if I don't have to, I'm going to avoid it. Definitely getting a lot of fall color. It's really pretty. Anyway, back to my video games for a little while. So, like I said earlier, I think today is a chicken stew day, or chicken soup. Haven't decided if it's going to be stew or soup. I'll see what I'm in the mood for, if I'm going to thicken it or not. And it's a really, really basic one, because I don't feel like fussing a lot, so I didn't home make the stock. I dropped 4 bouillon cubes and some salt and pepper into the water. I cut up my chicken thighs. They're going to go in. And then once they cook off some, I'm going to toss in some potatoes from the garden, some carrots, and I think I'm going to add green beans to it, because that sounds good. So, really basic, really easy. Tasty, though. It makes me happy, and it's a kind of fall staple for me. Alright, after that boils up and you skim off the yuck that comes to the top, because yuck always comes to the top, we're going to add our veggies. And then we're going to cook, and then we're going to drop a purple potato on the floor because we're doing this one-handed. So yeah, then you're just going to boil that till it's done, and then I will decide if I am going to make it a stew or a soup. Still haven't made up my mind. We'll see. And it's done. I went ahead and added the green beans at the end, since they were just canned green beans and don't need to cook very long. And I thickened it up a little bit, but not a lot. It's still pretty thin, but didn't realize I was pretty much out of cornstarch, which is my go-to thickener. So, I don't know. Looks like a good soup for the day. So, I'm going to have lunch, or dinner, or whatever meal this is. I don't know. It's 2 in the afternoon. I pretty much really only eat once a day, so this is food. Definitely turned out more of a soup than a stew. But that's okay. It'll still taste good. And the rain has come. Also, I think Herc is mad at me. I just heard him fly over my head. Sorry, dude, didn't bring out seeds. I don't even see you now. I'm gonna have to get used to bringing out seeds every time I step out the door again. Kind of the way I do with peanuts. It's really hard to get pictures of a bird when there's a chipmunk in your pocket. All you want to do is laugh. What are you doing? Do you want this peanut? I don't think you can fit that in your mouth. So the raccoon is back yet again, eating her seeds. It was kind of funny. There was about a week that went by that you would hear terrible fights, sounded way worse than a cat fight. And it was her telling her babies that it was time for them to move on, that she was done taking care of them. Which is always a little bit sad, but part of the inevitable cycle of life, I guess. So she kicked them out of her territory, and now all the seeds are hers again. I guess that's cool. So I didn't film too much more today because my uncle and his wife showed up kinda out of the blue. It was nice visiting with them. It's always nice having surprise visitors, isn't it, Higgy? Higgy even came out and met my aunt, which is really, really fun for him because he normally doesn't like people and hides. So it was kind of cool that he came out and actually at least sniffed her hand. It was kind of neat. We had a lot of fun talking about just family history and stuff. And I found out, if you were around back when I read my great-grandpa's World War I diary, and he got very sick at the end of it, but it was never said, at least in the diary, what he had gotten sick of, and I had been wondering if it was the 1918 flu pandemic, because that was about the time that it was written. And my uncle actually was able to fill me in on it, and he said that my great-grandfather was actually mustard gassed out in the trenches. So now I know why he thought he was going to die. Don't blame him. I've heard that mustard gas is a terrible, terrible thing. Anyway, my uncle also told me that the plum tree that I got the plums off of is a shoot or something that came from my grandfather's plum tree that grew downstate in Warren, Michigan at their main house, because they had a house down there, and then this cabin that I'm in was the summer place. So I found out that, which I think is really cool. So that tree has some family history and is a lot older than I thought it was. And I found out another way to tell if apples are ripe, so I'm going to pick one tomorrow and cut it open and see what color the seeds are. If the seeds are brown, then we are go for pie making. If not, well then, I'll give them at least until the frost hits. But yeah, that was the end of my day. It was pretty good. I wasn't expecting to have company, but hey, it's kind of cool. I actually had company show up last week too, which was... It's always weird to have company come by, because I will go months where I don't see anybody outside of a couple of neighbors. And then all of a sudden I had my dad's cousin, which I think would make him my second cousin, and his wife, and my aunt and uncle on my mom's side all came on the same day, which was interesting. And then this week my aunt and uncle on my dad's side showed up. So it was kind of cool. Anyway, that's about it for my day. If it was boring, I'm sorry. My life is not exciting. But as always, thank you for joining me in my day. And maybe we'll do it again if y'all like this. If not, that's fine too. Have a good one.